one. Some Can you guys see me or hear me? Because it's weird, the YouTube shows me that I'm streaming and the OBS shows me that I'm not. I guess it works. Yeah, looks like it's working. Cool. Then we're right on time. Hi everyone. Today we're going to continue working on the TouchDesigner Techniques and Examples repository that we started last time. And we're going to continue working on the Crossfader first. And then we're gonna move on to some other thing that I wanted to show you, like some small example of how would you go about wiring the parameters on your custom component to your custom extension for this component. Yeah, so maybe it would be somewhat of a shorter stream. I wanted to do some work also on my on the Crossfader, because we need to add the annotations, and then I wanted to move the code to organize it a bit better, to move the code to extension, and I will explain why. Yeah, so off stream from last time I did some more work on this quick navigation sort of meta component. I organized the GitHub a bit better, the repository. Did this one. So now it has a link here to this playlist with all the YouTube streams that I will be doing. Then in the sources we have now, we had meta, and inside the meta was directly all the files related to quick navigation, but I thought it would be better to put it on its own directory. And here's the description of each component that will be here. So currently we only have the quick navigation, and the idea here would always be in the release. In the release would always be the resulting tox file. So if you just want to grab the working component, you always care about the release folder. So now, yes, as I said, I want to keep working on the Crossfader. And in the Crossfader, I actually, now that I look at it, should I also add? I think I might want to add Crossfader into its separate directory. So let's start by doing this. I'm gonna say cd src video playback, sorry, LA. We have a Crossfader here, so we're just gonna create a new directory, mkdir. I'm gonna call it Crossfader. I'm gonna mv Crossfader anything, no, Crossfader.anything to Crossfader. Okay, and now we have this, and now we're gonna move recursively back up to Crossfader. What's it? Not R? MV? Ah, just MV, I guess. Right? So now we have everything under the Crossfader. Okay, and then yes, here's our backup. Okay, so I'm gonna commit all, add everything, commit it with the message moved crossfader to crossfader example to its own directory, and we're gonna git push it. This time I'm doing a stream without the music, because even though I was playing my personal music last stream, I still got demonetized for it. I had to go through the whole process of whitelisting my YouTube channel on my publishing platform. I guess it worked in the end. The claim was resolved. I got remonetized, but now I'm just yeah. I need to organize it a bit better. I need to download the music locally so I could play it on repeat, because I keep forgetting to turn it back on. So yeah, maybe from the next stream on I will re-enable it, but today would be a bit just me talking. Okay, so we did this. Now let's start looking at the project. So this is our quicknav component. I made it nicer. So I added previous, next, restart, add and delete. I think it was already there last time. Then I added just the current thing to show the current navigation. So we can try, like, let's say we add this one and then that this node here. Let's take them apart. So I can say add. You can see that it's 1 out of 1. So we're looking at the first one, and we only have one. And we can go here, we can go add. Now we have 1 of 2. So this is, we're looking at second, we're looking at first. Then I added import export stuff, which is nice, that you can just put it in the table or feed it the table and it will restore the list from it. And then, yes, I added 2 things here, changelog, that shows you what happened on each iteration of the version. I'm not sure if it's like really needed for such a small component, but it's still like a good practice to have. And then I added a small help file that just opens a viewer of the text that is inside. And you can see what each parameter does and what happens here. So the nice, the thing that I asked the developers to do, I think would be really nice, and I'm not sure how they can solve it, but what would be nice, when you create your custom component, when you press on help here, it takes you not to the help of the base component, because there's almost nothing to look at, but it actually takes you to help of your custom component. That would be really cool, but it's not there. Okay, so that's the quicknav component, and yeah, I did some work because I wanted to keep working on my crossfader thing, but I was stuck because the quicknav was not ready for it yet. So now it's ready. We don't need to save any changes, so we're just gonna quit, and we're gonna open our Crossfader project. So this is our Crossfader project, and we have a quicknav here, and I'm thinking, should we put all of this under the Crossfader base, or is it fine to be in the root of the project one? Maybe it's fine. But the Crossfader quicknav would be a bit out of place here, but I think it's okay. So we're just gonna delete this quicknav, external talk path, *C, video playback, release quicknav talks. Can I reload this? What does it do? Warning, cannot load external talks from path. Really? Why? Me parent file folder plus / plus meta. Maybe it should be like this because we have, no, wait, so that's meta, then it should be quicknav reload. Nice. So it loaded the latest version of the component. So now what I wanna do is I wanna work a little bit on the quicknav so we can start forming like a tutorial. Or maybe, actually, no, let me finish organizing the network because it's going to be some changes. And then once it's done, we're gonna annotate everything and then we're gonna put everything in the quicknav. We're gonna add functionality to auto load the correct navigation, which is, yeah, that's the missing part, but we'll get to it later. And then as soon as everything ready, we're gonna start populating it with the quicknav. So what I wanted to work on today is I actually wanted to create an extension. And now that I said about the extension, I realized that yes, I actually want to put everything in its own base. So I'm gonna create a base. We're gonna call it, you know, it's funny, I worked with TouchDesigner for 14 years, almost 15 by now. And I still don't know any hotkey whatsoever. It's kind of embarrassing. So we're gonna call this guy Crossfader. We're gonna customize the component. For now, we're not gonna do any fancy UI or anything, we're just gonna add the extension. So we're gonna say the Crossfader ext is gonna be the extension, okay? So now, we're gonna externalize this file first. So I want to, under Crossfader, I want to create a new folder, which is, how do I do it on Mac actually? No, I guess I need to first do it here and then I can use it, I guess. Okay, so let's see, SRC, video playback, I'm doing it off screen, Crossfader, new folder, scripts. Okay, and now we can save this file, save the contents. Yeah, I used to pick the picker, not the saver dialog, so that I didn't have this new folder button here. So we're gonna go to scripts, I'm gonna save it as a crossfader ext.py, yes, that's fine. And now we're gonna choose this file back, open, and we're gonna say sync to file, so that our extension will always be synchronized to the changes that we're making. And now I want to do this. I want to select everything here like this. I want to Control X. I want to go inside. I want to Control V. So here's all my stuff. Hopefully it's still working. Should, like, I don't know why it wouldn't. Let's check. Okay. Okay, so this is the crossfader, and next to it will gonna be our quicknav component. Okay. And before we continue, let me just quickly commit my stuff. So, I already committed. Moved crossfader example to its own directory. Yeah, okay, so I already did it. That's fine. Now, we're gonna look at the extension. And we're gonna start modifying the extension. I actually don't know how to wire this edit button to my new Vim script, because new Vim is starting from the console. It's not a separate executable. Yeah, so I'm not sure. Maybe I can write there executable of my console with some key that it will auto start the whatever. It's fine for now. So we're just gonna do this. We're gonna split the screen here. I think maybe, yeah, let's just do it like this actually. I'm just gonna give myself a bit more space like this. So this will be cd-def and here's gonna be our NeoVim. And in the NeoVim I wanna open the Crossfader XT yes. So I want to delete all of that stuff. I want to, yeah, just delete everything for now. Here we're going to say pass, which is the Python way of saying don't do anything. And we get hit with the inconsistent use of tabs and spaces. Okay, so the description is gonna be just, well, actually, I don't think we really need a description at this point. So the owner comp is of type base comp. So we're gonna start by saying self.owner comp equals owner comp. Type annotation for attribute is required because this class is not decorated with final. Okay, so this is a base comp. Now, so this is just the beginning of our Crossfader comp. We have it, we have the owner comp reference, and we're gonna start putting, so the idea is we have few bits of logic scattered around the project, around this this thing, right? So first is this on clip launched script. Second is this script on transition done. And instead of doing the work here, because I also have had to duplicate some code, for example, you know, I have get playing clip here, I get playing clip here. Instead of doing this like that, I want to centralize all of it in the extension. And then from here, from this scripts, I just want to call the extension code. And this will give me two main benefits. First of all, my code will be centralized. So the entire functionality of the Crossfader comp would be, we will be able to overview it in a single point. That's really nice, because otherwise you like, it's manageable, of course, when you just have like 2 scripts like we have, but in a bigger component, well, you will have like 50 scripts or I don't know, 10 scripts. It will be very, very hard to keep jumping between nodes and saying like, okay, I pressed this button and something happened, but where exactly does this code live where that does this action, you know? And then you like clicking around and was in this script or was it in that script, you know? So that's no good. So that's the biggest issue that the extension will solve. Plus, it will let us reuse some code, like some handy functions that we created, like for example this one, right, the get playing clip. That's a handy function to have across the component, and we don't want to duplicate it. Of course, we can do some like messed up things, like start importing this script into that script, and then like that we can reuse the code that lives in this script, but it's really messy. You should not be doing that in any case. So yeah, so let's just start by I'm just gonna dump all the logic in the component. And from there, we'll figure it out. So we have this, just gonna control V all of it. It will hit me probably with inconsistent use. No? Anyway, we're just gonna do this. Just gonna do this. So off to on is our function that gets called whenever we press a button, right? Whenever we press a button with the clip, it analyzes the index on the shuffle, and then it does some work. So we're gonna transform it. So off to on will not take a channel in this case. We only using sample index, and sample index is an integer. So we need a self, right? We need a sample index that is an integer, and that's about it. I think that's everything that we need. Okay, so now we need to do this. We need to indent this thing. Now get clip to play. It's gonna return the movie file in top. Yes, we're gonna indent this thing. And then get clip to play is not defined because it's, first of all, should be here self, and then here it's not going to be anymore the get clip to play. It's going to be, first of all, it's going to be an internal function, and this is just an agreement. I forgot the English word. It's basically underscore is not needed, but in languages like C++, for example, or Java or C#, you have a concept of private and public interfaces. So every class has public functions and it has private functions. And the public functions, they are accessible from anywhere, but the private functions, they are accessible only from within the class itself. So it's like helper functions, you know, the functions that help the class to do what it needs to be doing. And so in Python, there's no such thing as private and public. You can call anything, but it's still helpful to have this concept. And so the agreement is to use the underscore for private stuff. And I think to use like double underscore for like built-in library Python stuff. So that when you're trying to call the code, and you have to type the function name, and you see that the function name has an underscore in it, it is a hint to you as the user, as like external user of this class, like, hey, I probably am doing something wrong. It should not, like, I should not directly reach to the inner workings of the class because I might mess something up, you know? So this is, yeah, just the idiom, I guess. So now this clip to play would be self._get clip to play. And then we're gonna say clip to play dot park pulse. Yes, that's fine. Clip to play park play val equals true. And then we need to do the same with the free deck. So the free deck would be, here we have an issue. We need this. Instant methods should take self parameters. Then this guy, gonna do like this. We're gonna also take self. Okay, so free deck is not defined. Why is it not defined? Yeah, of course, because it's not a free deck anymore. It's, first of all, we need to also prefix this function names methods with underscore. Then here we're gonna say like this, self get free deck part top equals clip to play cannot assign to attribute top for class select top parse movie file in top is not assignable to par top. Yeah, I need to figure out all this errors and warnings. Probably like free deck returns select top. Right? And then deck A equals, maybe we should say that it's opex as type select top. I don't know if it's gonna change anything. As type select top. Type top or none is not assignable to return type movie file in top. Type is not assignable. Yeah, it's interesting because yeah, okay, I'm just not gonna bother with these errors for now because I really need to inspect the documentation better. Okay, crossfade current deck, that's crossfade trigger, crossfade current deck. So we're just gonna put, I don't like this, you know, when you have these definitions inside the function itself, I don't like it. Because if you reference it in multiple places, then you'll have to repeat the name, and then if you decided to rename this operator, you will have to find every function which references this name and change it there, and it's messy. So it's better to put it here and say self crossfade trigger op equals, and we're just gonna say this guy. Okay, we're just gonna say that the type of this is, I think it's the button comp, right? Comp, cannot assign class. I think it was something like, wait, as type button comp, and then this guy was not needed. No, still needed. Okay, so then I'm gonna say here self crossfader trigger up, click, argument missing for parameter val. Oh man, I really am tempted to disable all this TouchDesigner annotations because, yeah, either I need to learn how to use them properly or they are completely broken. Not completely broken, but somewhat broken. Yeah, because they're just creating so much visual noise for me right now. Let me actually go ahead and disable them for now. So we need to do where we are. Okay, so I guess gonna remove the pyrite config for now. Not sure if I'm gonna commit to this decision. Yeah, but then I'm also gonna be hit with all this like op is not defined stuff. Okay, then we do git restore pyrite config. Yeah, either way is bad. Okay. So that we changed the crossfader trigger top, and I want to do the same with this guy, crossfade current deck, which is what? The crossfade current deck, it's this guy. Okay. So I'm just gonna say self crossfade current deck op equals, what is it, a null chop? No, it's a count chop, okay? Which is a count chop equals opex cross, do this. Okay, as type count chop, and now here we can say self crossfade current deck op. Okay, so this we will call now. Just call it on clip launch. Okay, and now, so this is saved. I figured out how to make my autosave work again, the plugin for new Vim. And now here, instead of all this stuff, we're just gonna delete all of it. And we're gonna be using the sample index, and we're gonna say me.parent on clip launched, and we're gonna pass the sample index. Okay, on clip launched, right? I called it on clip launch. Clip launch. Let's see if it works. Okay, on clip launched, line 3, on to off, DG attribute error, crossfader X object has no attribute on clip launch. Why? Because I did not promote the extension? No, it's promoted. Why are you not? Wait a second, what the hell is this? Sync to file is on. The file is saved. What the hell? I'm not sure why it did not sync to file is on. Strange. Okay, let's try one more time. Okay, look. Let's just look here at this switch, view it, make it a bit smaller, and just gonna click around. Yeah, okay, so that works. Cool. So that part is solved. Now we need to solve this part. So when the value was changed, we were checking if the value is 0 or 1, because we only wanted to be reacting to these two events. And yeah, I'm thinking, how can we express it in the Okay, let's just start by copy pasting this code. Man, this really annoys me a lot. Okay, I don't want to take too much time off the stream to look at it. Something will be for me to do for the next next stream. So we're gonna call this on crossfade end, and this is gonna take, it needs to take some kind of parameter that will show us yeah, what should it tell us on crossfade end. And I guess it needs to tell us the other clip, get playing clip 1, get playing clip 0. Okay, let's just say it will tell us an index for now, which I don't like in the long run, but for now will be fine. Okay, something like this. I guess something like this. Okay, on crossfade end, we're gonna say if index equals 0 or if index equals 1. Okay, and this needs to be moved here as well. Hi guys, I don't understand anything, but it looks very interesting. I have the same feeling a lot of times. Dennis, hello. Hi guys. Hi everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're having fun, and maybe someone from you guys is smart enough to tell me how to deal with this annoying errors from the linter. Because they're really annoying. Maybe what I can do instead is I can disable the inline errors. Oh man, but that means I would need to deal with the NeoVim configuration. You know guys, the funny thing is that the NeoVim, I'm already using it for 2 years, but I have, like, it's such a voodoo to me when I have to deal with configs for NeoVim. I'm really, every time I update NeoVim itself or some plugins, something for sure breaks, and then I have to go fix it, and I'm like, oh my god, please. I have no idea what am I doing. Somehow I always manage to get it working, but it's just such a... I never bother to read the Lua documentation, how you're supposed to, like, how all this setup and configs working there. So it's always just such a quest for me. So anyway, we need to say here that this is gonna be self get playing clip. This would be also self get playing clip. This guy would also be self get playing clip, and this would also be self get playing clip. Okay. Variable deck. is not accessed. Really? Interesting. I guess it is not. Yeah, interesting. I never realized that I haven't used it here. Okay, then bye-bye. Bye-bye. Wow. I have a I have a function with single errors. Yay. So now, what if I just remove this guy and say it doesn't return select top? Yay. Okay. Get item. Yeah, you know, guys, maybe if I remove this stupid type annotations, maybe it would not bother me anymore. So crossfade current deck op. I have no idea what kind of op is this, you know? No clue whatsoever. Crossfade current deck op. Get item method not defined on type op. Whatever. Argument missing. Okay. Somewhat better. Not ideal still. I hate it, but it's just like super distracting, you know, because when I write code in my day-to-day job, it's C++, and there, if you even have a speck of red, just like a pixel of red, then you know, okay, it's just, I have to fix it right now because otherwise my code would not compile. And so I have this instinct where I see red, I'm like, oh my God, I have to fix it right away, otherwise nothing will work. But in this case, actually everything will work. Okay, so get plain clips, get plain clip, that should be fine. I mean, the code is horrible, don't get me wrong. I have to work on it a bit, but let's just see if it gets the job done. We're gonna move this function here. We're gonna move it higher up because it's just an organizational thing, but I like to have my kind of public functions first and then the private functions after. So that's that. And let's see if the code works. So now I'm gonna go here. Let's first see if the synchronization thing worked. And it did not. Why it doesn't work? I don't understand it. Okay, so we're gonna go now. We're gonna go here. We're gonna delete all of this. And we're gonna say me.parent. You know what? We don't need, there was a bit that we wanted to keep. So I want to keep this part. And the rest of it I want to delete. Okay? So here I want to say me parent on crossfade finish, I called it, on crossfade end with 0, and here I want to say me.parent on crossfade end with the argument of 1. Okay, so let's see. Let's see if we get any errors. No errors. That's already good, but let's see if it actually works. So like, for example, I'm looking at this clip right now. When I press on this button, I want this clip to stop working after a second. So boom. Yes, it stopped now. Nice. So that works. That's good. Now we're done. I want to do a couple of things. I want to refactor the code a little bit in the extension, and then we're gonna start wrapping up. We're gonna start putting annotations in, do some small work for organizing the project better, and then we're gonna publish, and then basically gonna be done with it. So what I wanted to do, so let's analyze. On clip launch, this happens when we press the button, right? So first of all, it finds which clip we need to play, and that I think makes sense to me. And the way it does it, it just returns us the movie file in with the index +1, right? Because the movie file in we have starting counting from 1, and the index starts counting from 0. Okay, and well, actually, you know what, guys? I will do already one change here, because sample index, you know, like this is internal knowledge to the script that calls this function. You know, this script knows that actually the number that it passes, happens to be the sample index. But here, on the level of the Crossfader extension, we have or should not have any knowledge about sample index. What does it mean? You know, when you just look at this code and you see like on clip launch passes us the sample index, and you're like, wait, is it the sample index of from where should we start playing the clip? I don't think so. So it doesn't make any sense to me. So here we're gonna rename it, and we're gonna say, oops, sorry. Let's see if this works. So I'm gonna say, not the sample index, we're gonna say clip index. Okay? And then maybe what I wanna do is, actually I also wanna say here that, yes, the sample indexes start from 1, but we know that clip starts from 0, the sample indexes start from 0, but we know that clip starts from 1, so here we're just gonna directly say +1. And we can say here +1 because sample index start from 0 and clip index start from 1. Okay, save. I haven't saved for a while. You know, that's also my biggest problem in TouchDesign. I would start building something, and then I would be like 3 hours in, and I would still have like new project in the title of the window, and then something crashes, and I'm like, wait a second, did I save? So maybe the next thing we will build would be autosave component, where I'm pretty sure there's like a ton of them already available. But yeah, it's just a very important thing to have. So here we have sample index +1. So here we don't need to do any +1s anymore. We just can directly return index. Okay. So clip to play, self get clip to play on the clip index. That's fine. Then we say that qpulse.pulse, so we rewind it basically, right? So it can start playing from scratch. Then we start playing it, and then sorry, it's not C++. Prepare clip and start playback. So this is this part. Now, when we started already playing the clip, we need to put it in the correct deck. So now, put it in the right deck. So that's the second thing that happens. And then the third thing that happens is trigger the crossfade. Right, so we found the clip to play, we put it in the deck, and then we started transitioning to this deck. So we started showing this deck. This is what happens. Ideally, this also like, you know, sometimes I don't write code myself like this, but it's some people recommend it, and sometimes I also think that maybe I should write it like this. But ideally, on this like very high level function calls, like on clip launch, what I wrote in the comments is actually what you want to see on the code. So instead of having all this, what we want to see is something like self prepare clip self dot play clip self dot prepare free deck self dot start crossfade. Like this, you don't need any comments, and you don't need to care about the specifics, you know, like, okay, we're pressing the pulse on the Q pulse, we're pressing play on pressing play on the clip, then we're finding the free deck, we put the top on it, you know, you don't need to worry about this. You can just like on a very high level, just skim through the function and already know what happens. So you can say, okay, so first the clip gets prepared, then it starts to get played, then the free deck gets prepared, and then the crossfade begins. You know, oh, okay, so you already see the whole algorithm without needing to worry about the details of the implementation. What kind of parameters get triggered, what function gets called, you know. So I like this style, and maybe I should, it's just sometimes, you know, it's much more work when you can just put a couple of expressions here, so it doesn't put like too big of a cognitive load on you. Yeah, and then, sorry, I'm looking at the chat and I see that Tizmea asks, and in theory, will this also work with regular containers that I create, or only with movie file in? Can you clarify a bit? What do you mean with regular, like when you say, will this also work? What do you mean by this? What exactly will work? Yeah, so not gonna do it like this for now because the code is tiny, but when the code becomes bigger, of course you need to start taking it apart into different functions. So this is what happens. I think I'm more or less fine with this code. So the free deck gets the free deck, and then it puts the clip to play in this free deck, yes. And then we trigger the crossfade. I think it's fine. This guy, let's just, for the sake of consistency, remove all of that. Okay, now let's look at the next function on crossfade end. If index equals 0 or if index equals 1, ideally I want to replace it to be something more evident, you know, like on crossfade end, basically we want to know like the side of the crossfade. It's the left side we crossfaded to, or is the right side we crossfaded to. Yeah, here we're just gonna put a comment. Need this check in case we have the same clip in both decks. Right, and then yeah, get playing clip in deck 1. Would be cool if we could just say directly here, not the index, but we would say like something like deck, and this would be of type of deck. You know, I think that would be cool. So we can say yes, but then the caller of the crossfade end would need to know about the deck. Yeah, okay. I think for now, guys, it's fine. It's just a bit of over-engineering if we will start doing it like this. Let's keep it simple. So I'll say this function is also fine. Get clip to play takes an index, returns the PUI file in with this index. Again, for now, keeping it simple, we assume that we cannot miss the index. And actually, that's a simple thing to add. We're gonna say that here it's not the perfect check, but we can say here let's put it here, and we're just gonna quickly check. So we're gonna say that num clips is integer and it is equal op merge one num channels, I think, right? Let's see, print num clips. Oh yeah, I forgot to terminate the string, sorry. Where is it? Yes, here. No. Object has no attribute num channels. Maybe num chans. Let me try, and then I'll go to docs if I don't succeed. Num chans. Int object is not callable. Okay, that's something. Wait, what? Ah, yeah, true. Num chance, like this. And then here we would also need to say to convert it to string, because we cannot just print the integer directly. 5. Okay, cool. So basically I think it's good enough way to check how many samples, how many channels we have, how many clips we have, because we can just count the number of samples here, number of channels, and then assume that we're not double plugging anything in here, or we don't like mess with this node in a way that it's not supposed to be messed with. So we're just gonna say num clips, and then we're gonna say that, so we have 5. It means that the biggest index that is possible is n minus 1, right? So 4. So we're gonna say, well, actually, now that I think about it, how can it be bigger? If this whole thing is, yeah, we don't, okay guys, we don't need this check, because it cannot be 6, for example, because this is not some arbitrary number, it's the stems from this merge, and this merge references this connected node to it, so it's kind of like, it cannot be something else, so actually we don't need this check at all. So, sorry for wasting your time. Okay, going back to chat. I meant, will containers with generative visuals be paused? No, they won't be paused, because in order for them to be paused, you need to define what does it mean to pause your generative visual. You have to have some kind of, so here on crossfade end, what happens is that I'm pressing play, parameter play, I'm setting it to false. And the parameter play is a defined parameter, is this one, right? So I'm basically toggling this off. So what would you have to do, you can do it still, but you will have to define some kind of custom thing on your visual, on your generative visual, to say what stop means, you know, how to stop it. You will have to explain, and then you can use it like this. So just as a quick example, if you have my visual, you would have to define customize component. I have to create like parameters here. You will have to create a toggle that will say play. And then you will have to press this toggle. And then inside, you would do whatever, you know, maybe you have a mix of live generative stuff and movie file lints and like some pre-baked, some pre-rendered stuff. And so this is, let's say this is your movie file lint top, and this is, I don't know, this is gonna create like a super cool visual. So we're just gonna say this is my, I forgot me.time.apps frame. Yeah, so this is my generative visual, right? And then whenever, let's say what we have parameter. We care about the parameter. Yeah, exactly. We care about the parameter play. And so this here basically corresponds to this. And in this case, it will, how can we make this, you know, that's what you need to define. What does it mean for this visual to stop, right? And then probably you don't want to, when you want to stop it, you want for it to stop cooking. So I guess in this case, we can do something like this. Switch between these two things. And that what would be your stopping thing. It's not the clean, of course, it's not the cleanest thing, but somewhat that's what will happen. And like that, you can preserve the logic, you know, of this play. Like that you can, from that script that I have there, from the crossfader, you can press play, and then it will know how to play whatever it is playing. So it's, yeah, maybe we can do the second round of this crossfader to show it with the video examples, and then with the generative stuff. Okay, so back to this guy. We were looking at the, yeah, you're welcome. So now here we were looking at this guy, select top. This is how we're getting the plain clip, right? We're taking the deck A and we're taking the deck B. Then we're saying if index is 0, then it means that the plain clip is in the deck A. The plain clip is whatever is then in the deck A select top portion. So basically, whatever text we have here, return it, but then we have this magic word eval, which means I don't want to return to get it as text. I want to get it as an operator, you know? So that's why we have this eval portion. We can even write a comment. Eval will return it as an operator and not a plain text. Because otherwise it will just return the string movie file in 1, for example. And with the string we would have to then write some other code that actually resolves it to an operator. It finds an operator with the same name, you know, and stuff like this. But with this eval we can directly do this. So that's the get plain clip. And then we have get free deck, which is again this repetition of deck A, deck B. And which, yeah, is basically telling us, okay, look at the current crossfade position as an integer and tell me where it is. If it's on the left side, which it means that we're showing the deck A right now, then it means that the deck, the free deck would be the deck B. That's why we're returning deck B. But otherwise, it would mean that it's deck A. So that's the logic. I would somewhat do it a bit differently. I would, for example, make this decks a class, you know, stuff like this. But I think since these tutorials are aimed at not like super experts, I think it will add to confusion more than it will help with anything else. So I think it's fine for now. And yeah, let's just let's refresh this guy because I don't know why it doesn't work. Let's check that everything still works. It's gonna view this container. So this works, this works, this works, this works, this works again. And then I want to make sure that all the other clips are stopped. And they are. Good. Okay, so now we're finished and we can start annotating these things. So, first of all, I think the beginning should be here. Should be in this movie file in. And I'm gonna say, yeah, I remember now that I had like such a hard time last time with this annotate comps. Wait, I cannot copy paste? No, I can. Okay, cool. So it's gonna put it here. Put all my movie file ins. Organize them. And now comes the painful part of editing this thing. Let me get rid of this for a moment. This doesn't have to be so big. That's fine like this. It's fine like this. And the annotation will say here. So it will be not GUI, it would be our movies, aka content source. Okay, now here we will say that we start by adding some movies that we would like to crossfade between. But actually, Tismeya, thank you for the idea of doing the similar thing with the real-time visuals. I think it can be also an interesting technique, and I think I'm gonna work on this next while we're still in this crossfader example. We start by adding some movies that we would like to crossfade between. Okay, that's fine. That will be our first focus point. Then here, this would be our second focus point. And here I just want to say that this is just just an example of local GUI to be able to click through the clips. It doesn't need to be like that. It's just for the sake of the example. So this is GUI part. So each clip is added as a background to a corresponding momentary button. Then these buttons are laid out in the GUI container. Let's call it GUI. This is just so that we could click through the clips and see the crossfader in action. Okay, so then after this, I think it will make sense to show let's write here a little bit of text. So here we would say that playback logic. Each button gets fed. Sorry, I'm not, English is not my first language. Each button gets, let's say, connected to the merge chop. This is needed for us to know which button is pressed, so that we know which clip we want to start playing back. Shuffle just lets us look at. Technically speaking, you know, we don't need the sample, the shuffle here, because what we're doing, we just have already sample index as an integer. If we did not have this shuffle, what we had to do, we had to call channel.index, and that would be exactly the same. So maybe let's even delete it. So I'm gonna put a null here. gonna say here clip to play. And here, instead of using sample index, we will use channel.index. And I think channel.index should also start from 0, right? Let's see, does it work? Yeah, of course it doesn't work because we haven't wired it in. So we need to say that clip to play, channel any, off to on, and then the channel index. And yeah, let's quickly check that it still does what we expect it to do. Yeah, yep, okay, it works. So just a simplification, not to confuse people why we use shuffle. So I'm gonna delete this shuffle bit from here. When the button is pressed, a corresponding channel gets triggered, which calls our extensions on clip launched function, passing num index of clip as a parameter. Okay? Now, this is the most important part. It's kind of like the gist of the whole technique. So actually this is our, oh guys, I need to sneeze. No, I don't. Damn, this allergy is really getting the best of me. Okay, so this is Crossfader. This is the main point of this technique. Instead of putting every top to our switch and cross-fading between them, we only put two tops. You can think about it as a DJ setup with two decks and a mixer. This is exactly the same. This is exactly what happens here. This technique gives us the ability to jump between any clips we want. Whereas when we connect all tops in one switch, we can only crossfade between adjacent clips, meaning we can't go from clip 1 to clip 50 without briefly showing all other clips in between. And that might sound ridiculous, but that's what actually I saw people doing, and I did myself the same way before I knew better. So that's valid. That's valid. So this is the crossfader. Now this guy is basically the controller for this crossfader. So the crossfade controller. To be able to make our transitions smooth, we need to animate the index parameter of our switch top, aka, what do we call it here? We call it switch 1. Okay. We need to animate it smoothly. For that, we need any type of network that generates 0 and 1 values, and that then gets fed. Again, this then get fed into a filter chop to smoothen the step, the transition from 0 to 1 and back. By playing with the settings, with the parameters on the filter chop, we can control the behavior of our crossfade. We can make it longer, shorter. We can change the animation curve, etc. We can even disable it completely, right? If we put it to 0, then we will get just a hard cut transition, right? So let's look at this. You see? But I guess the effect, because I was getting a weird delay and I was like, why I'm getting, I guess the filter width should be 0, or maybe both. Yeah, now it's immediate. Before I was getting like a small delay and I was wondering why. So, okay. So that's that. Here we already wrote something. Yeah, crossfade let's just say it, visualization. This node lets you see how the crossfader will work. You can play how the crossfader works. Lets you visualize how crossfader work. You can play with type parameter of the crossfader filter to see the visualization of different transition types. Okay, good. Now, like this. Okay, so now we need to Now I'm trying to think. Let's just try to look at this setup as someone who opens this project for the first time. So when they open this project for the first time, I want them to be presented. What do I want them to be presented with? The question. So we want to have, I guess we want to have a split screen. And here I want to show them a little GUI so they can play with it. And then I want to show them the parameters of the quicknav component so they can jump. So they can press the buttons and they can jump. That's what I want to do. So first of all is going to be a panel view. And the panel view, so let's make this GUI. Let's add something to this GUI. And what we're gonna add another container. And this container will show us the preview. We're gonna call this container preview. And okay, let's close this for a second. We're gonna add a null here. We're gonna call it a result. I don't know. This is the result of our crossfader. We're gonna disable this guy here, and we're gonna say that this preview container has as a backdrop, as a background top, shows our result. So result is 16 by 9. Want to have it the same way here. It was this guy. I want to copy it. Put it in height. Okay, so now we're gonna wire it. So this is gonna be our buttons view, and we're going to create a new container that is going to be our GUI. Okay, so we're going to wire this guy and wire this guy, and we're going to say that we want to organize our children top to bottom, and this should be order 0, and that guy should be order 1. Yeah, now it worked. Weird. Okay, so I want these guys to be 350, both of them. I don't know why this guy freaked out. That's strange. Okay, and now I want to say that this should organize them top to bottom. Let's give them a bit of spacing, like 10 pixels, 10 points, I don't know. We say that we want to justify them center and center, like this. Okay, and so this guy I want to show. Let's try it. So if we split left and right, and we say here that we want to say show panel, and the panel that we want to show is GUI. Okay? And then we're going to split it further. We're going to split it top to bottom. And here we want to show the parameters. And the parameters we want to show is the project1 slash quicknav. What? Why? Why quicknav? What? What the hell? Yes, this guy. That's what I want to show. Project 1 / quicknav. Why is it showing me quicknav axt? Wait, split top bottom. Parameters. No operator selected. Wait, I don't get it. Project 1 should show me the parameters of what? Okay. Weird. Yeah, it is strange. But okay, let's push it a little bit like this. And so now we need to start populating the quicknav. So I want to, here we can press P to hide this and give us more space to work with. So the Crossfader xt go here. So when I want to say, we start here, we start by adding some movies that we would like to crossfade between, right? That would be our first stop. Then the second stop would be, I guess, this. Each clip is added as a background. So here, what I wanted to say is that I want to clarify the GUI part is only needed for the demonstration of this technique. On the right side of the UI, you can play with it by pressing movie thumbnails. Each clip is added as a background to a corresponding momentary button. These buttons are laid out in the GUI container. This is just so that we could click through the clips and see the crossfader in action. Yeah, okay, I think it's even fine like this. Let's close this, guys. Okay. Then the playback logic. So we showed that we want to put the clips, then there's GUI that you can interact with, then the playback logic can come, and then I want to say about this guy, Crossfader, then I'm gonna say about crossfade controller, and then I'm gonna say it about crossfade visualization in the end. So let's start. So we're gonna click this and we're gonna say add. We're gonna click this guy and we're gonna click add. Then we're gonna click on this guy, gonna say add. Then we're gonna click on this guy, we're gonna say add. We're gonna click on this guy, gonna say add, and finally on this guy, we're gonna say add. So now, if I start jumping between them, I'm gonna restart, and we start it here. Then next one, next one, next one, next one, next one. Cool. What I'm not super happy about is the zoom level, but I don't think I have any control over it. Because I'm pretty sure in here, what is it like? File not found for sync. Ah, yeah, that's because I moved this guy, which is fine. Yeah, we don't care about it because here we don't need to sync to anything because we're not in the development mode for this guy. What I just wanted to see if I'm calling the home, right? Pretty sure I should be calling home. On previous goto, we need to look at the goto definition. Goto, zoom equals true. Yeah. So that's just, we have to work with this. So now, so we created these 6 guys, right? We can jump between them, that's cool. Now what we need to do is we need to export them. So I'm gonna create a new table that, and I'm gonna say export to that pulse. So now it populated these things in a, wait, is the order correct? I guess yes, because maybe the I did not care about, so I said we're starting here, and this is annotates, yeah, this is annotate 6. Okay, so now we need to add, I might add it to the quicknav itself because I don't think it's here yet, but we're gonna add it as an import from that. And I don't think I have a logic there that auto imports it in the beginning if this thing is not empty. So we can double check it. So let me close this and let me reopen this again. Yeah, I'm not happy about this thing. Why it doesn't work? Now it works. Right? No, it doesn't work. It shows me like some complete different node. What the hell? What the hell, TouchDesigner? Fix your goddamn TouchDesigner. Go to the root. Yeah, that's a bit of a problem, to be honest. Maybe, okay, I know how to solve it. We can put the parameter view. We can, yeah, you see this no navigation points is because when you initialize, it initializes empty. So what I need to do is I need to add a simple logic that will pulse this thing. So we need to say execute that, just execute, and this would be our startup execute script that will go and click the import. Bit hacky, but I think it's fine. So we're gonna say op quicknav bar import pulse I think there was a button to try it. Yes, it works. Okay, cool. Control S. Thank you, Matthew. Really appreciate all the comments. So the operator that we're going to look at is this quicknav. I want to look, so here I'm going to say that I want to change it to be panel. And the panel that I want to look at is going to be project 1, parameter 1. Okay, and now we need to work on this a bit. We want to say that the header, no, we don't need the header page names. We don't need the page names. We don't want to, no, we don't want, we want to show labels. We want to show separators. We don't want to have an input. Allow expansion, no. Built-in, no. Custom, yes. Page scope, we only care about parameters. We don't want to expose anything else. And parameter scope, we don't want to show the add and delete. So we want to show current, want to show previous, want to show next, want to show restart. Nice, nice. The only thing that is a bit confusing, you know, like I'm trying to imagine myself, like I open the project and I'm presented with this. Like, I think I will be pretty confused, you know, about like, okay, what's going on? Like there's no call to action kind of thing here that will tell me, okay, I need to start pressing the buttons. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, whenever I open someone else's, actually, why do we have 12 of them? Okay, yeah, because I called import 2 times, that's fine. Whenever I open someone else's project, yes, I think, yeah. Whenever I open someone else's project, usually if I see any type of button whatsoever, I immediately start clicking on that. And you know what? I think we also need to preload all these clips that they would look nicely. Because otherwise you have a bunch of black screens here when you just start. So we're gonna here we're gonna do a preload and we're gonna write it on the extension, which is no, let's not do it on the extension, because you know it's a bit like, why does Crossfader care about so what I want to do is to say movies equal OPS Crossfader / movie file in, and then like this, print movies. Let's see if it works. Yes, it does. And now I'm gonna say for movie in movies, movie.preload, I think it's called. Let's see if I get any errors. Oh, it works. Cool. And I'm gonna remove the comment from this one. Okay. So now, how should we solve this issue? I wanted maybe I can put another panel here, like a text panel or something that will say like start here by pressing these buttons. You can navigate the project in a tutorial fashion, something like this. Yeah, I guess what we're missing is some kind of header, you know, that will tell, okay, this is Crossfader. You can look at the GUI and press the buttons to play with it, and then you can press on the previous, next, and restart to navigate how it is built in a tutorial-like fashion. So that's what I want to happen. So let's build it. We would need, I guess, what is it, like a text comp? And the text comp will say that the text will be formatting codes. Is it like this? Something like no. Let me check the documentation. So the text comp blah 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 is a parameter formatting. This parameter controls how the source text is formatted and displayed inside the panel. The options available will change depending on selected mode. For example, in float mode, there are options for scientific notation, blah, blah, blah. Custom formatting. This parameter provides the formatting strings for custom modes like Python F-string and C++ FMT. In both cases, the source text is defined inside the curly braces, while the text is treated as... okay, but this is not what I want. I want formatting codes. Enable to use the formatting directives in the text. For example, the code color will turn alt text afterwards on that line red. Text formatting codes. Stretch, track, skew, scale, under, strike, script, color, red. I want this to be wait, I just want to make it bold. How can I make it bold? Underline, strike out. I don't want any of this. Reset. Color. Transform based script state to value. Why is it so complicated, man? Just want a bold text, man. Just give me the bold text, man. That's all I'm asking for. Okay, let's just say Crossfader component, and then this works. God damn it! Okay, maybe I can feed it the dat specification dat. I remember there was something like let's see how to use specification dat. Specification data, path to table that is the source of the text data when in the specification mode. The table should have 3 columns labeled X, Y, and text in their first rows. Each row after that will display one line of text at the given X, Y coordinates as measured from the oh my god, that's insane. So it wants me to do something like this. It wants me to take a table. It wants me to create 3 columns here. And it wants me to call them X, Y, and text. And then when I say here like 0, 0, and foo, and I'll say that this is my specification that, it will put it on the 0, 0 pixel. So if I want to make it, I can put it wherever I want, but it doesn't give me any, like it's a very low level thing, which I absolutely hate. So first of all, we're gonna make it, we have it as 350, and then the height would be 100 pixels. Okay. Man, that's crazy. Crossfader example. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, let's go. Crossfader example. Next row. We'll start at 100, and by Y it will start at 80. Let's try. No, it should start below, so it should start at 20. Nice. And the craziest part is that it's center aligned, I guess. So these pixels, let me see, formatting, default, custom. Reading direction, font, regular. Yeah, horizontal align should be left. Okay, so now if I say 0, it will at least start at 0. Yeah, okay, that's a bit better. Okay, so would be, I don't know how can I, there's probably something I can do to display another like font size and font weight and whatnot. Can I do more parameters here in the specification that? Man, who would have thought that the most part that I would be struggling with when the whole thing is that's this text. We'll just boom, specification that. Type controls how the value is well, formatting and edit option are available. String float, multi-line, password, specification data. Whatever. Just want to have a very, very simple text that says Crossfader example. You can play with the GUI by pressing the thumbnails. And of course it doesn't overflow. Formatting codes, I don't want that. Smart punctuation, don't want that. Formatting string, multi-line, word wrap. Oh my god, why is this so hard? There has to be a better way of doing it somehow. I don't know. What is this? Callbacks. I don't want any callbacks. Okay, let's try to do this. How can I tell it that I want it to be? I want it to be treated like. Okay, let's try like this. Yeah, okay, at least this works somehow. Okay. Crossfader component. Then after new line character, we want to say, so this, who doesn't know this, this RN, it means return the cursor to the beginning of the line, this R, and then N, it means go to the new line. So it effectively returns your cursor to the beginning of next line. So you can, whatever you type next, it will be typed in the beginning of next line. So I want to say that on the right side, you have a GUI that lets you crossfade between different movies to see the crossfading in action. Now RN, see how it looks like, and it doesn't fit, I guess. Yes. On the bottom, let's add another RN actually here, so we'll have clear separation. On the bottom, you can use previous, next, restart buttons to navigate through the network in a tutorial-like fashion. Okay. Actually, I need it to be much smaller probably, so let's just try it like this right now. So I'm gonna split this top and bottom, and I'm gonna say that this should be a panel view. And I want to give it some space like this, and I want this guy to show slash project. No, sorry. Okay, this guy should show project1 slash text1. This guy should show project1. What was it? Crossfader slash GUI. Okay, and I want to make this guy smaller. And now we have problems here with the scaling. Oh my god, that's just so bad. Okay, if I make the font smaller, no, that just doesn't work. Okay, I guess I'll have to take it off stream and then figure out a better way, because that's just horrible and it doesn't work, and I hate it, and I hate my life right now. Which reminds me of my days, like anytime you have to do something GUI related in TouchDesigner, you really want to unalive yourself. So I'm feeling the same right now. Yeah, I have to figure this out, and I have to make it somewhat presentable to the users. So let's just save it and see if at least like on a technical level it works correctly. So I'm gonna quit this thing. I'm gonna open it again. Thanks a lot. Yeah, I also think it turned out pretty great, but not the part with the GUI. But look, all the movies are preloaded. The text is here. This, guys, we can say next. So previous. The only thing that kind of sucks is that I would like it to be like this, you know, so that would be a bit more readable, but I guess this is part that the users will have to work out themselves. So movies, aka content source. We started by adding some movies that we would like to crossfade between. Yes. Next. It's this guy. The GUI part is only needed for the demonstration of the technique. On the right side of the UI, you can play with it by pressing movie thumbnails. Each clip is added as a background to a corresponding momentary button. These buttons are laid out in the GUI container. This is just so that we could click through the clips and see the crossfader in action. Nice. Next. Playback logic. Each button gets connected to the merge chop. This is needed for us to know which button is pressed so that we know which clip we want to start playing back. When the button is pressed, a corresponding channel gets triggered, which calls our extensions on clip launched function, a method technically, not function, method, and I think on clip launched method, passing index of a clip as a parameter. You know what's nice about this thing actually is that you can do something like edit parameter. Oh wow. Okay, it opens the text editor, which by default is set to be Xcode, which is kind of crazy, but okay. I think here, wait, let me see. There was something about the formatting, the custom formatting, no, the formatting codes. So I can do something like this. Script, what is a script to? Script, this is a transform-based script state to value, where value is an integer. If value is 0, then the text scale and text offset states are set to the identity transform. If value is positive, then the superscript scale and offset are applied value times. If value is negative, then the subscript scale and offset are applied value times. Ignore it if value... No, I'm too stupid for this. I'm just gonna do this. That's what I want to do. I want to do green color. Let's just see if it works. So I want to do this, but I want it to be green. So RGB, we need this to be 255, this to be 0. So now if we save this, yes. However, from here, we need this to be reset. No? Reset all formatting states to their initial values. Ah, I guess I need to call it as a function. Yes. Nice. So something like this I can decorate it further. So I will put a to-do list. I would put it on a to-do list. So can you increase the width of the text? Of which text? You mean this one? I don't think this is meant to be used like that. This layout. Yeah, we can do it like this too, but maybe the whole thing needs to be combined into one panel with a clear UI so that we wouldn't have these guys here. And then when this is all assembled in one panel, we can just clearly say, okay, show me one panel here. And like that, I will have the full control over it. You know, let's even do it like, let's do it right now. I mean, it will still not be perfect, but it will be somewhat better. So what I want to do here is I want to have another container that would be called GUI again. And the GUI will have 3 components. That thing we don't need anymore. It will have, first it will have a text. Second, it will have a, is there a select? Yes, there is a select. So it will select the Crossfader / GUI. Plug it in here, and then thirdly, it's gonna take this guy. Now we're gonna say children, top to bottom. Okay, and now, so this guy would be, let's say, 1000 pixels by 250. This guy is 400 by 300, whatever. This guy is 480 by 360. Okay, let me do you also 480. And this will also be 480. And this guy would be 480 by some big number. Now we're gonna need to organize them. So this guy should be first, line order 0. This guy should be second, and this guy should be first. So now we have this, which is still not perfect, but at least we can put it all as a single entity here. So we can say I want to have a panel view here, and the panel that I want to look at would be project1/GUI. And it still looks like a piece of crap. Oh. The problem is that if I just say the height is 700, I don't think it will look, I think the look of it will depend on the resolution of the screen that you're looking at it. So that's something I will have to figure out, for sure. So let me just squeeze it a little bit like this. And then I'll save it. And then let's try to restart it and see that everything looks as it should. Okay. Crossfader. Okay. I think makes sense to actually swap them. Next should be up and previous should be down, but okay. So 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Nice. So everything seems to be working. I need to figure out how to make this look good. That's for sure. Maybe even something crazy like putting it all into the web render and just making some buttons for that to be able to have a control over how it looks and feels. Because otherwise, yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know yet, but certainly has to be better than this, whatever this atrocity is. Okay, so at this point, we need to edit our to-do list. And I think we started in the wrong directory. So let me say readme of the, I want to be in the readme of the video playback. change code to live in extensions, done. Make more accurate annotations, done. Provide a description. This is I'm gonna do now. So the to do would be make UI GUI part nicer so that the user won't get confused when opening the project for the first time. Okay. Crossfader project demonstrates the technique of having a bunch of videos and being able to smoothly transition between them while being able to control the transition time and type. This can be useful in a VJ player type projects. Okay. And I guess that's it. As soon as I figure the GUI part, then the whole thing will be done. I want like my general aim for this streams is to be around 3 hours long. We're now at 2 hours 12 minutes in this live stream, so we have like 45 minutes roughly left. So I think might as well work on the last part of this to do, just to finish with this component. So we need to figure out this guy here. Let me think a bit. I wanted to stylistically be kind of like not this Frankenstein, you know, there you have this text, then you have this panel, then you have this like parameter view. I want it all to be kind of like an embedded thing that is really nice to look at. Yeah, you know, creating UIs in TouchDesign is always a pain in the ass, to be honest. And let's just start with at least some. How do I make a text bold in TouchDesigner text comp? Designer-friendly text comp. Thanks for the comment. The text comp utilizes the third-party text library Slug, which you can read about more here if you're interested. If you guys have any specific examples, I agree with this. I will often add a red rectangle to help me figure out where the layout box exists. This gets tricky when you adjust alignment, blah, blah, blah. Maybe in the Slug library, dynamic GPU font rendering and advanced text layout. La la la, where's documentation? Where is the documentation? What do you mean? Download Slack demo. I don't want to download them. Slack user manual. Oh my god, PDF. Are you serious? Yeah, TouchDesigner for sure needs to add something more high level than this, because this is insanity. Building a Slack placeholder, multiple fonts. So I wanna I wanna make a text bold. Instead, I'm presented with like 285 pages of PDF that I need to figure out. Let's just let's just search bold. Okay, we have 3 entries for bold. Make the lower buttons similar to those responsible for switching clips, thus fitting them into the style of the GUI. Make the lower buttons similar to those responsible for switching clips, thus fitting. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was thinking maybe something like this too. But then, you know, the annoying part is that if I do it, I can make them like custom buttons, but then this current one of 6, I would also have to do some kind of like custom text, custom rendering. Ideally, I don't want to do this. Okay, so we have 3 entries here on the 300-page documentation for Slack library, and it mentions the word bold 3 times. This style can specify typical variations. Okay, multiple fonts. The functions for building slugs and multiple lines of text described up to this point all works with a single font. Slack includes flexible data structure called a font map. A font map defines relation among these 3 types of information. Fallbacks fonts are specified. Font mapping mechanism. In this example, type codes are specified for 4 different styles. The code 0 is used for the regular times font. Okay, where is this type code? Okay, how do I underscale strike script color grad? Scale, skew, track, stretch, under script. Then the superscript. Oh wait, here, look. Text comp. You can draw multiple transform formatted strings using a specification that it draws 1 string per row of the table, each with its own position and formatting in your panel. Columns can be, now here we go, why it was not there. X, Y, text, font size, font color, font alpha, skew tracking, horse stretch, font size, but still no like font type or font weight or something, font size only. You can also use specification chop for the numeric values of the text attributes. Every row has Python callbacks that can be executed for every character or string that has changed, and callback for change on focus. Resolution independent text. Oh, operator snippets, for example. Op snippets, yes, I want the op snippets. Maybe there would be something interesting. Text multi-line, text tab, text word wrap, text no word wrap. That's okay. Tape scrolling, specification table, editable text, styles, formats. Yes, this is what I want. Man, I can't believe that there's no fucking bold text anywhere. What the hell? That's the most commonly used connect. Okay. Yeah, but now you can see, you can get a pic how they did actually their, oh, that's funny. You know how they did their, like for example, chop execute. The component is necessary, change will not be saved. Yeah, okay, that's fine. You see this? This is yellow, this is purple, this is green. Before TouchDesigner whatever, like the later versions, it was not possible. Everything was just blue color by default. And they implemented the slug library internally. That's how they pulled it off. And then they just exposed it to us also, you know, like might as well just give it to people. But it's funny, yeah. No bold text though. Material design icons, switch that to edit, yeah, okay. The thing is that on the slug library documentation, I feel like they're saying that you can specify, I think it's just something that TouchDesigner did not expose, maybe. But this typeface, you see bold, regular, this is what needs to be specified, and they have this like point, there's an argument for this, if I understand it correctly, you see? There's like this type code thing, but it's not exposed. We cannot put it anywhere. This type code. Oh well. I mean, of course I can do something like this, you know, I can copy paste this. I can make this guy a parent of this guy. Here the text would be only this, so I don't need Crossfader example. Right? And I can say that this would be bold. And I can say that this guy be part of another container. It's 480. Then it will align its children top to bottom. This guy would be like 20 pixels big. And then comes this text. And then like that, the whole thing will look like this. But I'm still not happy, you know, with this I can make it start in the presentation mode, and in the presentation mode you will see this UI, but this will not work because as far as I know in TouchDesigner there's nothing like a network view. You know, there's no panel that lets you render the network actually, because probably like that you can abuse the touch player. And that's not good. We don't want that. So I guess that's all we can do with it. So we can say that the children, let's give it a bit of a margin from the X, like here, and let's give it a bit of a margin from Y. No, sorry, that's I guess not it. Is it this one? Or we can actually give it a bit of an offset on X and offset on Y. Oh wait. What I just want to move it a little bit from the top. Strange. Actually, it might be doing what I wanted to do. Is just I'm looking at the wrong place. Yes. So that's fine. Let's give it 20 by 20. Okay. Now in this guy, there's a typo here, example. In this guy, I see. Let's make this 450. This is 452. Now I just want to make the whole thing smaller because it's too big. So I make this guy, let's say 15. Okay. Now the whole thing can be shrunk down. So this is 120. This is that can be then something like 150. Okay, then this guy can be a bit bigger, like that, say. I don't know, I think it will only look like that on my specific screen. Because it's all in the pixels in absolute values. Now, the annoying part is that this part, okay, so where's the parameter? The parameter okay, this has to stay gray. I guess. Okay, but I just want to then center the kids, the children. Justify horizontal center. Okay, and I want to make this guy bigger. I guess for that I need to scale the children. So look, should be somewhere the scale, no? Yeah, what? So this thing is 560. I want to make this GUI thing. sorry, I'm looking at the wrong place. So I want to make this guy also 560. And then this guy would scale his children. Okay. Let's make you 550. $500. Make this guy 400. And then this parameter will make a little smaller. Now, why is this happening? So the good thing when you need to debug this sort of like layout problems, I recommend like assigning each one like a distinct color so that you can really see the borders of everything. Like this, for example, is already wrong because you see this guy extends past the size of the container, which means that if this container is 150 pixels, these two guys are 140, and it means something is here not right. Let's remove these offsets for now. Yeah, you see now it's here. Now it's correct. We might play I guess maybe with the font a little bit, you know. Vertical align. Center. Okay, so that's this part. Now let's do the same here. I want to say that it should be, I don't know, green. Weird. Now this guy, say there's some weird thing going on here. I don't exactly understand what it is. It's probably somewhere I put some like weird offset or something like this. We start here, we add this guy. This looks good. Then we add this guy. Okay, now I understand what's the problem. It's because this guy is too small. So the select, but how it can be small? Because that guy is too small, I guess. This GUI, but no, it's actually, yes. You see, that's the problem, because here it looks okay, but it actually is cutting, is clipping. So if I do this like 350, then it's fitting now. And now if I add this guy, it will correctly be positioned afterwards. So now we can remove all these colors that we used to debug. Actually, we need to restore this back like this. Then this guy should be like this. And this guy. And this guy, we're actually gonna make a little hack and do it like this. Look, we're gonna say that this is actually 0.25, 0.25. So we're gonna make it the same color, because we cannot change this color, but we can change every other color. So we will match it. So at least will look somewhat, you see? And now maybe we'll offset the children a little bit by Y. Like this. And my cursor disappeared, okay. And now can we make this guy yeah, okay, so for now I would say it's good enough. Crossfader component on the right side. Wait, why does it say crossfader component? On the right side, you have a GUI that lets you crossfade between different movies to see the crossfading in action. But it's not on the right side. Below. And you know what I want to do? I want to put like a border around it. Which is not border over children, yes. Why doesn't it show up? Okay, we're just gonna go here. I'm sorry, not here. We're gonna go here. We're gonna go here, and we're gonna say here, border A, border A, border A, border A, here as well, to make it a bit thicker. Something like this. I mean, okay. So I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna quit TouchDesigner. I'm gonna start the project again. And everything is better be working. No, sorry. Sorry for that. Yes, next, 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 restart, previous, restart, click, 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 click. Well, somewhat works. This could use a bit of more love, but at least that's not as horrible as it used to look half an hour ago. So at this point, I think I will leave this to do. The GUI part is still, let me actually double check that the text. Below you have a GUI that lets you crossfade between different movies to see the crossfading in action. On the bottom, you can use previous, next, restart buttons to navigate through the network in a tutorial-like fashion. Yeah, okay, it's kind of like clear enough. So we're gonna commit all of this. We're gonna say the message would be, what the message would be? The message would be finished working on the Crossfader example. I will so this is the crossfader, and we're gonna say here next examples to implement. I had the so today we learned about the new idea. Thanks for TouchDesigner to do the similar example as for video crossfader, but for real time visuals. Okay, then I wanted to show a small technique of mapping custom parameters to corresponding extension methods. Then I wanted to also show some logging techniques. Yeah, for now that's enough. And so yeah, that's good. Added some ideas for future examples. Push. And then I probably would do some kind of like a meta component for the UI, for the quick UI building as well. Because yeah, it would always have some kind of like a bold text, and then description, then it will have some kind of like a UI preview, and then it will always have this this component here, which I might also like make like a custom UI for it that looks nicer with like custom buttons. And like that I can reuse this component across my techniques and tutorials. They will look kind of similarly, you know, they will share the same design language, so to say. Ooh. Yeah, it would be more presentable, and then the user would not be confused like where to start, where to press, because every time, you know, you open some kind of example, a lot of times it would be like, oh my god, where do I start, what button do I press? There's so many stuff going on, you know, and the network is saved not in the right focus, you know, something like this. So, and a bunch of media files is missing, of course. So yeah, I'm really happy, Tizmia. Thank you a lot for your comments and for sticking around, and I really hope that it's indeed interesting to watch, because I myself usually love to watch this kind of streams, you know, just to see how the the person's mind works, you know, how the sequence of thoughts, and how, like, to see like small techniques here and there being implemented, and to see some just the workflow, you know, of like this is how the professional development of in TouchDesigner looks like in the end of the day. So that gives you the taste of it. And struggling with UI and being completely miserable is also part of experience. And believe me, I worked with different people, and all of them had hard time dealing with the GUI part in TouchDesigner. So yeah, I'm not alone. Okay, so everything is pushed. And I think that's a wrap for today. So yeah, thanks for sticking around. It was a great pleasure for me. And I'll see you next time, which would hopefully be next Sunday. Bye guys.